Do you see anything that you guys are doing differently, or is it mostly a similar tried and true strategy in terms of going out and meeting people? What do you see?
I don't spend a lot of time paying attention to what the PCs are doing. I'm focused on meeting people here in Vegreville and all across the constituency to find out about the issues and the concerns that they have. And it's important now that we are in the campaign for us to be able to provide policy proposals that we think will address their priorities. So their concerns about lack of rural doctors, about skyrocketing power bills, about power lines going through their land, about lack of investment in long-term and home care for seniors, and about how to get government spending under control so that the core programs and priorities that Albertans value are sustainable in the long term.
In terms of what you're getting in response for feedback, can you just share with us what people are telling you when you go and talk to them?
It's time for a change, and that's what people say. They offer that. I think people have gotten to the point where the trust has been broken between the government and citizens. They want to see MLAs who will represent their constituents, who know that their jobs are to stand up for the people who are their bosses, who are the people who sent them to the legislature, not to go to the legislature to do what their party leader says.
Now, you had a rally in Bruderheim yesterday, and Danielle Smith was gracious enough to pop by.
Yes.
What was the focus of that rally?
Well, Danielle talked about the balanced budget commitment that we made. It's our first pledge to Albertans, and we'll be rolling out a number of pledges over the campaign. So we believe the importance of having a balanced budget is so that core programs that are priorities to Albertans are sustainable in the long term.
Here's the straight question that a lot of people want to know, because the Wildrose Party talks about having a balanced budget. The PCs come back and say, go ahead and have a balanced budget and then try and sustain the programs that we're running. Fair points on both sides. How do you do that? How do you balance a budget and still promote growth at the same time?
Yeah, it's about wants and needs. So it's about a government able to establish priorities, set priorities, and stick to them in a way that reflects the things that Albertans care about. I don't think there are very many Albertans who think that their tax dollars should be given in grants to companies. I don't think there are many Albertans who would say that at a time when we are running our 5th consecutive deficit budget that they should be renovating the MLA's offices. The problem is the history of this government is to spend wildly in the good times and then slash and burn in the bad times.
Some would say wasting. I know that Infrastructure Minister Jeff Johnson was speaking a few weeks ago at a function in Fort Saskatchewan, and he had said the number one thing he hears from companies looking to invest in Alberta, which I believe is something both parties want, is that they want the infrastructure already in place. If you build it, we will come.
Yes, I mean, if he's talking about things like the Highway 63 that they've been promising they would twin for a decade, yeah, I would agree. And I would wonder why the government is so far behind on that. But this is the problem. The government makes investment and decisions in infrastructure, in hospitals, in schools, based on politics often, based on votes. That it's not a mystery why a bunch of major funding announcements have come out only in the last 3 weeks, because it was the lead up to the election. But if these investments are priorities for Albertans, then they should be made when they need to be made, not just to run up into an election campaign. That's why Wildrose has proposed a public, transparent priority list for infrastructure projects with rationale about why projects are being built when.
Have any of your party members pledged in their campaigns, if I get in, I'm going to cut my wage, or vote to cut the wage, or are they not going on that one?
Yes, that is a key commitment for Wildrose. We will roll back the cap and pay increases that they granted themselves after the 2008 election by 30%. We will reduce the transition allowances or eliminate them entirely. The key thing here is MLAs should not be deciding their own pay, because when MLAs decide their own pay, they will always get they will always give themselves more. So this is another one of our proposals about fixing the structural issues to keep politicians in check. We believe that there should be one transparent, taxable salary for MLAs. What happens right now is there's a base pay, and that's sort of what they run around telling Albertans they are paid. But then there's also, as you know, several top-ups for committee work. There's a significant tax-free annual allowance. There is matching government contributions to RSPs. And then there are these exorbitant, ridiculous transition allowances. And so we think there should be one salary that's transparent and taxable, just like every Albertan, and so Albertans can see what MLAs are paid. And probably there would be stipends for different positions that you have as MLA, but that should all just be clear and transparent. That's crucial because Albertans are looking at their politicians and wondering why the rules don't apply to them. You know, why the rest of us have taxable salary and have to balance our budgets and have to make priorities and choose between wants and needs, and these guys get paid $1,000 a month for a committee that never meets, for example.
Okay.
And have to do a public opinion poll about whether or not to pay it back.